Hey everyone, sitting here at Studio 10. Thought I would do something special for you. We just finished our series called Unbound, and I thought I'd do a really quick recap on the last few weeks so that just to give you an idea if you missed it. Also, if you were here, to recap some of the stuff that I taught so that we can keep it in our minds for the future. The first week I talked about how Saul in the Bible had this thing which I termed perception deception. He was deceived by his own perception. How often have you found in your own world where you have been deceived by your own perception? Meaning there are things that you thought you saw it a certain way, but really it actually wasn't that way. And that's what happened with Paul, with Saul, is he was deceived by his own perception. God was already doing something, but Saul went ahead and actually broke God's covenant law, thinking that God hadn't turned up. But God was showing up, it's just it wasn't within Saul's timing. And he went and broke the law and missed out on what God was doing at that present point in time because of his deception. So the first week was about don't be deceived by the way you see things. Submit what you see to God and trust him. He's going to see you through on what he has for you. The second week I talked about how Saul was always looking for credit and recognition. Now picture this, here's a king, right? He's got as much credit and recognition as one could possibly have, but he was competing with his own son. He was competing with his own son because he wanted the credit of his son. And because he was doing that, what he was doing is he was trading his own need for credit and recognition in for what God already had for him. God had given him an entire kingdom. God had given him an entire future in Christ, and he missed all of that because he was just looking for something as simple as credit and recognition. In our own worlds, how often do we find ourselves wanting credit? We want recognition here, we want this, we want that, but we're missing out on the fact that Christ has given us everything we need in order to live. You'd never want to trade what God has for you for just something as simple as credit and recognition. The third mistake that Saul made was he thought that following God was all about his own behavior modification. He was trying to modify his behavior and modify the behavior of his army in order to bring about the circumstances that he wanted. The fact is behavior modification has nothing to do with being able to control our circumstances. It might work from time to time, but generally you'll find with God's planning and what he wants for us, he's already sorted it out. He's already at work. So it's more about trying to follow God and try to ascertain what his will is, rather than just trying to, pray more or fast more or do this more or do that more in order to see God's already at work. All we have to do is submit to that and start to follow him, rather than trying to change everything in order to have God's favor. The fact is because of Christ and what he's done on the cross, we've already got the favor. We don't have to worry about that. So those are the three things that we talked about over the last 3 weeks, and the series was called Unbound, and basically unbinding ourselves from the things that we do. And I use the life of Saul to kind of help us, see. And that's what the Bible's all about. The Bible's all about helping us to see the mistakes of others so that we don't fall into the same traps. God's good like that. He was thinking of you a long time ago, and he wrote the Bible for you. So that's what we've been doing. We're just about to launch into a new series on prayer and worship. Join us if you can. We'd love to have you along. Love you all. Bless you. Praying for you. We'll see you soon.